Do we really need a bullet train? That's the question the nation is asking. Anyway, this video is not a question, but it's a solution that I didn't come up with now, but I had actually filed a patent for this in 2006. But at that time, and even now for that matter, I didn't know who to take this idea to. The complete presentation can later be downloaded from our website. But for now, this video talks about the gist of the concept. So the question again is, do we need a bullet train? My answer is no. What we need is a bazooka train. The Japs needed the bullet train, so they made one for themselves. The Europeans needed the TGV, etc., and they made it for themselves. If we have to reinvent from the glorious train systems, most of which the British set up for us, then we need to think for ourselves. What are our problems? We have three: population, population, and more population. And then we have some other problems: more population. How does population affect us in this regard? Too many people means overcrowding of trains, means having to book too much in advance, means that you can hardly carry all the luggage that you want to carry, means that you can't use it for small businesses by carrying stuff with you last minute, means that you just have one pantry car as a possible entertainment in the whole train, means a lot of other things too that are represented in the train system today. When it comes to trains, India is the biggest and the most complex network. But most of it is copied or passed on technology from the developments that are happening in the West. We have three main gauges of tracks. Simply put, narrow gauge for the small tracks, for small trains like in the hills and mountains, meter gauge for the medium-sized trains and small towns, broad gauge to connect the metros. Now here's the big idea. Why stop at broad gauge when we need to ferry more and more people as a prime requirement for transportation? Presenting super gauge, super gauge, super gauge. In broad gauge, the track is 5 feet 6 inches wide, while the train itself is about 10 feet wide. The super gauge will be about 11 feet wide, that's just the tracks, and the train itself will be 20 feet wide. So how will that help? Now we have a train that's 20 feet wide, so why not make it 20 feet tall too, to make it truly double-decker and not like the namesake double-deckers that exist today. So now we have two levels of super gauge trains, which we can call bazooka train, and each of these levels can double the capacity, therefore making 4 times the current capacity. So imagine that each train that leaves a station has the potential to carry 4 times the current amount of people. No one will ever have to book a train again, just walk into a train and begin your journey. But that much increase is also not really required. So hear me out for the ideal scenario. Given that we make a bazooka train for India, we use the top level for the passengers and the bottom level for freight, commercial and retail. This way the journey of the train is always more than paid for, even if not a single passenger boards the train. Every ticket sold is a bonus. So the cost of ticket can be whatever the government wants. Also, with a top level of 20 feet width by 10 feet height, you will almost feel like you're inside the biggest plane in the world, that's the Airbus A380. And what stops us from giving the same design features, recliner seats for chair cars, comfortable beds for sleeping, etc. In fact, why stop at that when we can have restaurants, malls, multiplex-sized cinema halls, conference room, etc. all in the same train? So you can actually board the train in Mumbai, and by the time you're done with your shopping and watching movies or finishing your board meeting, you're in Delhi already. So think about it. If your travel time of 18 hours is totally used up in work or recreation, then comparatively even a 2-hour flight will seem like a waste of time. Now let's go to the lower level. The lower level is also 20 feet wide or slightly more, which means that any passenger car or even a freight container could go in sideways. This means that the lower part of the train can work as a goods train, while the top part works as a passenger train. So yes, stations will need to be redesigned. One side will be higher till the passenger level, and the other side will be level with the freight or goods train height. The advantages are many. I have already listed around 20 points which I put in the presentation, and there might be some problem areas too, but most problem areas or questions have automatically been answered in the presentation as well. Some of the questions let me address here as well. Will the tracks be very expensive? No, they are just wider apart if you notice. Will the tunnels have to be much wider? Yes. But it's still not wider than most of the car tunnels that are made on the expressways. Will the engines need to be made specially for this capacity? Not necessarily. Like in this Jeep and this Jeep, the difference is by increasing the wheelbase. Similarly, we can increase and use the same engines by reconfiguring their wheels. The train of that size will become too heavy. How will the engines pull the load? It will be around 4 times the weight if we think on the same lines as we were thinking in early 1900s. But if we think on the lines of how commercial planes are made today, then using the correct alloys, We can make it light enough, equal to the current weight. And by my rough calculations in the presentation, the current freight train engines are already strong enough to pull these kind of trains. Will it be safe and possible to run given this huge size? Well, I think so. 50 years ago, would you believe if I told you that a 550-ton plane can fly normally? Well, the Airbus A380 can. So who's going to stop this train from moving on the ground? So this train is what the Indian public really needs for transportation. It will also be what the businesses and startups need for freight movement. Before I end, I have some good news for the government to show how much it stands to earn by choosing this need-based ideas that will make everyone happy. 56 lakhs of profit on every trip. It's possible. Check out the presentations. Though all the figures may not be right, to make the train and the infrastructure for it, the government will create lakhs of jobs and thousands of companies will be born. And after we are done with India, we can take this to the world. The bazooka train on Super Gauge.